Welcome everyone, it's Unstoppable Stilezzi here with yet another Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition casting game. So for this one, we got ourselves a nice Supremacy 2 versus 2. We got the Kaiski Aztecs teamed up with the Swedes, facing off against the French and the Maltese. And before we get started with this nice matchup, which I'm definitely excited about since I like Malta, let's see how the map looks. So the map here today would be Manchuria, I believe. I remember this map really well from Wars of Liberty. You know, we always play on Manchuria. The biggest thing you gotta know about Manchuria is you got the wide, expansive steppe of Manchuria you can certainly use to get hunts on, mines, trees. Keep in mind it's super duper open, and thus you can get raided pretty easily, since a lot of the hunts are really far from your TC. You get the nice trade route on the peripheries of the map on the more arid side of the map you can certainly use. We do have two civs, the French and the Aztecs, which really love trading posts, so I'm assuming we're going to see them basically eat up this trade route at some point. And then of course on Manchuria you also have the Sea of Japan over here that you can fish boom with as well. So with all those geographical considerations, as well as that of the native sites as well, the Tengri, let's see how this match turns out, shall we? Alright, so to start, we got ourselves the Aztecs here. Aztecs are a pretty interesting civ in AoE 3. The thing I like about them is their unique style of gameplay. They have a lot of reliance on the community plaza, and they usually use some of the different dances, like the warrior dance, to dish out a lot of damage. And one thing the Aztecs use to boost up the community plaza even more are these warrior priests, which are even more effective when dancing at the community plaza than the standard villagers. So Aztecs, they really do well with their community plazas, that's for sure. And they really have two options. They can either go Fast Fortress, get their Skull Knights, Arrow Knights, Jaguar Knights, whatever they want in Age 3 and 4. Or they can stick it out in Age 2 and they're really good aggressively going with War Huts, you know. So we're going to have to see how the Aztecs play it out this game. And certainly they have a really powerful ally in the Swedes as well. The Swedish, they are a really good economic powerhouse. And I feel like on this map, you got a real advantage as the Swedes. Mainly because you don't really have to venture out far to get a really good booming economy. Instead of putting your villagers' lives on the line and trying to herd in a bunch of Sorrow animals, all you really have to do is, and I can confirm that once we see the deck, basically take a bunch of these torps and construct them all along these mines. So that way you're not only gathering the coin from the mines and maybe getting a tree or two on the periphery, but you're also going to be gathering from the berry bush that gets produced when you build that torp, which I think is really powerful in general. And though you see the wood shipping, no, this is a food shipment actually, that's pretty interesting. So usually I go settlers instead of 300 food myself. But this card over here, the blueberries, this is going to be really useful for the Swedes, as it basically adds more food to those berry bushes that get popped out by the torps. And it improves the gather rate from those berries as well by the torps, leading to a really good food boom economy just with houses alone, not even any villagers. Let's see how the opponents are doing though. Like, what are the opponents going to do? So over here we got the Maltese. Maltese, you know, they got a couple of different strategies they can do. They can play super boomy and get their German tongue going, as well as their winged core construction. They can go pike and shot with crossbow and pikemen. They can go FF into hoops and dragoons. I've heard of all sorts of little wacky builds for the Maltese, so they should be a pretty interesting one to look at. They're going up with the governor right now, which grants them a outpost and some coin. And then last but not least, we got the French frogs here. And we already see what they're going for. They're going for the Ancien Regime. This grants you access to the House of Bourbon native warriors from a royal embassy wagon that it ships to you. So that way you can get right down to training those House of Bourbon native warriors, such as the Royal Dragoon and the Royal Musketeer. But do be warned though that they will cost like actual population that you'll need houses for, as a trade-off for being able to access a new set of natives to train, balance reasons, you know. So I think initially we're just going to see French go all natives initially, and to help them acquire additional upgrades for those natives, it looks like the French have constructed their average usual trading posts as well. Yeah, it's typical in every French build you do to start building trading posts. Also, same thing for Aztecs, since they're very shipment reliant as well. That's why we see this one over here for the Aztecs. And France is going up with the quartermaster right now, the 400 wood politician. And that should be pretty useful in affording, you know, additional housing for those royal muskets. Maybe an additional unit, or maybe some of those Tengri cab archers that look really spicy in the center map over there. Yeah, maybe we'll see some of those. Yeah, it looks like we see the Royal Embassy and an immediate training of the Royal Musketeers, it looks like. Yeah, these things are really powerful. You know, they start out with a charged pistol attack, which deals close to, 44 damage. And then after that, they can move into more of a functionality similar to that of an actual musketeer, right? They get the ranged gun attack, and then they get the anti-cav attack, this time with their sabers. And they can basically fight enemies off with their rapiers, pretty much. So, really a strong unit. And on the other side, let's see what the Swedes are going to do. Oh, so the Swedes are going for push of pike. Interesting option. Now that should give them a pretty nice advantage. Oh wow, look at this too. They went the royal decree route. Yeah, so Swedes get some pretty powerful royal decree options around military. You know, they get the push of pike, which changes the stats of their polearm units pretty well. And they also can send a number of their Gustavian guards from the church as well through the royal decree. And as you know with the Swedes, they cannot train halberdiers themselves, so the fact that they can access them through this royal decree technology does give them a bit of an early push. And we're going to see these really powerful halberdiers slam right into these royal musketeers. And they're going to be really struggling at this stage to try to fend them off. The best shot these royal muskets can do is do hit and run, some kiting tactics, and take advantage of those charged pistol attacks. Another thing we see here too is the Aztecs went with both their big button Jaguar shipment as well as their Skull Knights as well. Got some Skull Knights on the field. That's pretty powerful, you know. Skull Knights, deadliest warrior in the Aztec army. Does splash damage, anti-cav, you name it. Unfortunately, in this stage, not a lot of them, so they obviously looks like they got sniped down by the maltese crossbows as well as those royal muskets. And we see the royal muskets trying their best to kite these halberds, which it seems like they're doing pretty well right now. Yeah, they're just about finished, I would say. Yep, they're going to take that one out. Yep, now they have to retreat. It's really not much use for them pushing forward at this point. Also, the Maltese crossbows and Minutemen are coming in to help out as well. So yeah, that's the first fight of this 2 versus 2. And let's see what else is going on this map. So, looks like the Aztecs are actually going to start putting down some fishing boats as well from this dock. Yeah, definitely take advantage of that. Definitely take advantage of that, Aztecs, because one of the things I always notice with native civilizations in AoE 3, their economy takes a bit of time to get off the ground going, so if you can add some fish along with your normal diet, that's going to help their economy out pretty good. You know, it doesn't look like France or Maltese are going dock either, so yeah, in general, they should be doing pretty good with that. Not a lot of issues. And let's see in general what Malta's doing. So right now, they got 2 hospitals. I think they're just going pike and shot for right now. I don't really see anything else coming out of Malta. Yep, this is the key to Maltese pike and shot play, the Wignacourt constructions. And basically what it ends up doing is initially it gives you the same effect as economic theory. You know, 10% better gather rate for only natural resources. And then if you're near a outpost, a commandery, a town center, really any building that's defensive and you can garrison buildings inside, it allows those villagers to gather an additional 20% better from natural resources. So consider both of those effects. It basically gives you villagers a 30% gather rate improvement as long as they're near a TC or a tower or something. That's really good. Really is effective, and you're going to see a lot more of these pikemen and crossbowmen start to queue up from the Maltese as a result of that. They're going to have a very easy time affording these units. Making skirm H2 skirm. Yeah, so at this point, because you got a lot of Royal Musketeers over here and you got the Maltese units working, they're starting to cut their way through these torps. And to be honest, that's one of the only ways you can really hurt the Swedes a lot, I would say, is simply burning through their torps. That's like the lifeblood of their economy. We'll see how the Swedes and the Aztecs can handle this defense. Sounds like Aztecs is... Oh wow, they just went for the Wilderness Warfare card. That's really powerful because now we don't only see the Royal Musketeer Native Warriors, we also see the Tatar Archer Native Warriors, which is a Cav Archer unit. And all these guys are going to gain additional 20% stats, which is really good. Also the Courier de Bois, the villagers gain that 20% HP as well. Not to mention skirmishers, so if you did want to switch to like a standard skirmisher play as France, Wilderness Warfare also helps with that as well. In general, it's a very versatile card for general improvement. So, Aztecs are sounding the alarm right now, beep beep beep, because now they're under pressure, and it's going to be up to the Swedes with their double barracks crossbows to defend. Let's see if they can do it. Well, right now it does look like even with the loss of 4 torps, they still got enough torps on the field to keep 2 queues of crossbowmen coming out. Or something close to that, yeah. And that's going to be really good because these crossbowmen are going to be a really good solution to staving off the Cav Archers, those Tatar Cav Archers. And also dealing with the Maltese crossbowmen as well. Shot for shot. Yeah, the Maltese are not doing good right now, but it does look like the French went right for the Community Plaza to try to disrupt the dance that they were doing. As I said before, Community Plaza is the key to the Aztec civilization. If you can knock Aztecs off their game and keep them from dancing there, they're going to be dancing to an early death, you know? They're not going to have the stats they need to keep their pretty fragile units initially going. Thankfully, though, the Swedes have shipped in their leather cannon shipment. There are 2 leather cannon shipment here, which is one of the only cannons you can get in H2. It's not that strong, but it has less population requirements, and it's pretty cheap as well. 300 food and 100 wood, so you don't even need coin to make them, which is pretty rare. Pretty rare for an artillery unit. Now, this is where Swedes are really going to pick up. Again, Engelsberg Ironworks. Engelsberg Ironworks basically really soups up the mining rate from all the nearby mines next to the torps, right? So you see how this is like, this mine is slowly getting eaten up by the torps? Once the Engelberg Ironworks arrives, you're really going to start to see this mine really get eaten up by it. Which we should see right now. Yeah, you can see that the coin is disappearing slightly faster now. And that's because we see 4 torps here working on it at the same time, pretty much. Nice. So, looks like the French have went to age 3, which is expected. French really like their fast fortress play, or their semi-fast fortress play in this case, because they started out with native warriors. And with that, as you can see here, French get a lot of good age 3 shipping plays. They get skirms, dragoons, falconets, fort wagon. They could also add in cuirassiers in there as well for other decks too, and they also have a secondary skirm shipment. So if you just want to go all three H3 unit cards for France as an FF or semi-FF, that's a viable strategy, you know. That's usually what you do in a lot of 1 versus 1s, and it works really well. But it looks like in this case, though, they're probably going to do something a bit different, considering they're going mostly native warrior to start. So I wonder how they're going to back that up, potentially. Is the Maltese pike and shot play going to be enough? Especially when you got these Anton slingers from the Aztecs causing you some problems. That Courier de Bois is getting a serious headache now that he's been swung in the head with so many rocks. It must be pretty painful to deal with. He's probably feeling a bit dizzy as well. I wouldn't want to get hit with 20 stones like that. Make me real dizzy. You're seeing stars. We see the Swedes and the Aztecs repositioning at this point over here. And we also see the French and the Maltese taking up a defensive position in the French base, ready to defend anybody pushing in at this point. So what is France going to do to deal with that? Yeah, by the way, you can also get the House of Bourbon improvements from that card as well, the Ancien regime. So it really does turn you into the House of Bourbon pretty much. And we see some more tap. Oh, okay, so wow, wait a second. We're going to see an anti-artillery defense by the French to deal with the infantry mass. This is actually a pretty viable strategy, natives and artillery together. Yeah, these Entonnants, they go down really quick to artillery, you know. They're very flimsy units. They're even weaker than the crossbowmen, like 80 HP. Yeah, they're not going to last very long once those Falconets come into play. Neither are the pikes. Levercans, not strong enough to push into Falcs, so yeah, I think they're just going to let these two really push into their buildings and try to siege a bit. Oh, they're sending the Tengri Wolves to bite the ankles of the cannon workers over there. Yeah, they're getting bitten. Oh, here's the Falconets, though. Exactly. French heavy. Heavy French. Lots of croissants. Super heavy. Oh, wow, this is really good. It looks like Swedes have actually gone with all their Royal Decree card technologies. Before they did the Gustavian one for the Halberdiers, now they've turned their Jaegers into Savalax Jaegers. Now this is really powerful because it improves the stats of the Jaegers a bit. It offsets some of their coin costs in favor of wood costs. And it allows them to be stealthy as well. Also allows them to be trained, giving the Swedes a very powerful skirmisher option. Since the Swedes normally can't train skirmishers, right? They're stuck with, like, veteran crossbowmen normally. So the way that the Swedes get past that is through Jaeger mercenaries. Either regular ones or the Savalax Jaegers, should they send the Royal Decree tech to them. Getting Culvs. Yeah, that's going to be necessary here. Because what they got? Like four Falcons at this point? And anti-hand cav. Absolutely. If they go to like hand cavalry at all, like the Maltese could, or potentially France could do some sort of hussar thing, that could be a serious problem. How are they going to handle this though? Because we're talking like 5 Falconets at this point. And even more natives and skirmishers being shipped in as well. This is not looking good. So how do you deal with that? Basically what you have to do is you have to make sure that the cannons don't dish out too much damage to your Jaegers. Because you want the Jaegers doing what they do best. Taking advantage of their 40% pierce armor against the archers and the musketeers, not the can. Back. Yep, back on up. Don't want to get hit by those cannonballs. Otherwise those Jaegers will be taken out way too quickly for their costs. Now we see the Anton slingers coming in trying to... Well, they were trying to protect the Falcons, but then they just backed up. Falc's gonna... Oh, yep. Pretty bad. Now we... Oh, Culvs gonna take a shot at... Yep, Culvs have arrived, folks. Now those Falcs are in real trouble, so they have to retreat. Really no other option for them right now. Veteran crossbowmen trying to take out that house, all means necessary. What do they have against that house? Yeah, they just burn that house down. So, what's the next phase going to be? Frenchie's going up with Industrial Age. They're going to actually add in a few Culvs themselves to deal with the Swedish Culvs. And this is going to turn into a big cannon war, I feel like. And Aztecs, still in Age 2. They're getting grain market. And then they could also potentially get sustainable agriculture as well. Aztecs of the four native warrior civs, they got really good working farms. You know, they probably got the best agricultural economy up to 4, I would say. So we'll see how that works out for them. Also, they have that fish boom, which at this point is really well established. I can see even more fishing boats being queued up as we speak, making that a pretty effective economy at this point. How many do they have exactly? Do they have, so they're going to have like 38 of these fishing boats. Uncontested as well, mind you. Like no enemy docks over here. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's really good, actually. Can you get anti-cav? I'm Age 2. You really expect them to get Puma Spearmen against crossbowmen and cannons? Just make some Black Rider. Yeah, you're Swedes, man. You can go Black Riders if you want to. You're a mercenary civ as Swedes. You know, once they ship a certain mercenary in, usually that shipment unlocks it at the respective military building, right? So if you get a Jaeger shipment, you gain access to them at the barracks. If you get a Black Rider shipment, you gain access to them as a stable of Swedes. So now you gain a really strong anti-cab option. Oh, look at this. We get some Hussar rating here by the Maltese. The Hussars of the Maltese can be a really powerful tool since basically they get shadow tech, you know. They're a little bit more expensive base cost-wise, but it's worth it since, you know, they get additional stats at the start of the game and then they get shadow tech throughout the rest of the game too, so it's really helpful for them. Really helpful for them. Alright, so crossbowmen, Culvs. Here's the Black Riders. Here's the Black Riders. They're going to be used to dispatch the can. Nope. No. Never leave your Black Riders out on the front lines like that because they're just going to get scooped up by somebody's skirmishers like this. You know, the crossbowmen just ran right in and they took out 2 of the... I'm going 200 pop, soon be age up too. Now, this is an interesting play by Aztecs. Instead of going up for their stronger units like the Arrow Knight, like the Jaguar, they're just going full mass on slingers and coyotes runners here. Which, you know, you can do as Aztecs, right? You get a decent H2 setup, which, boosted by the Community Plaza, you can get some decent attack on as well. You know. All it takes is a couple of these coyote runners to mess up the targeting of the crossbowmen and potentially the cans as well, forcing the French to micro those artillery and try to take out their culverins. They still got 2 Swedish culverins up here, working hard on these French cannons. Then I think they're going to try to target these 2 over here. These ones are almost done. Let's see what they can do. Ooh. Oh wow, the coyote runners did, yeah. Coyote runners totally overwhelming the line over there. And yep, even these French heavy cannons from the Industrial Age, still not enough. Still not enough to defend the line. And we do see the Swedes going for a larger mass of their Savalax Jaegers as well. this big mass of Savlax Jaegers should be enough to make an initial push now, as we see the Aztecs doing right now. Nearly aged. So they're going up with an additional age up. What are the Swedes going to get on that age up? Also, what's Malta even doing here? Like, they're age 3 and they're still going with the veteran crossbowmen. Are they going to try to change it up and add a tongue card in and get a new unit, or what? Yeah, because the crossbow thing isn't working out. I mean, they can't stop this. Literally, I mean, we're talking like Imperial Skirmisher stats on the Jaegers. Like, you can't deal with that. Not to mention the higher armor value. Yep, here comes German mercenary contracts. This is going to add an additional 20% stats to those Savlax Jaegers as well. And it also allows you to train the German mercenaries from the respective buildings, if you haven't already unlocked them yet. So yeah, that's a GG. That's a GG. Due to careful defenses, as well as changing up the unit comp as needed, adapting with culverins as needed, this team was able to stop a really bad situation from happening, with that of the French going full native and artillery into your base. So that was a really good play on their part. Definitely was. Definitely was. So let's check the post game out, you know. Let's see how that went. Okay. So resource-wise, Swedes with the most resources. That's very predictable. When it comes again, Torps down is the Swedes. Once you do it, you got all the economy you need at that point. It's pretty easy to explain. Aztecs, second in score. Basically doing the fishing boom really paid off alongside the regular farming. Yeah, and it seems like the enemy team was just a little bit down in that area. But in terms of military performance, Swedes did exceptionally well with going full Jaeger, you know, with 90 Savlax Jaegers total. That led to a higher kill count. Whenever I go like mercenaries with the Swedes, I always get like insane MVP level kill counts, like maybe 3,000, 5,000, 6,000 kills. The longer the game goes, the higher it adds up. You know, you could get a civ like the Russians you're dealing with, and they're just going to get totally sprayed by it. Yeah, it seems like everyone else though was pretty much on par with their kill counts. You know, even with all the even with all those Falconets, very low kill count, all things considered, which I was pretty surprised by. Now, if you enjoyed this cast of game like I did, definitely check out the other ones I did. If you have any cast of games you did yourself that you want me to do, I'll cover them for you, you know. I'm willing to cover any sort of games that you have in mind. I really love to cast in these games for you, so keep bringing them in if you can. That's it for this one. See you in the next one we're going to do. I'm going to be doing more of these. Signing off now.